is the June 2019 paper 1 for biology for CXC exams, and we are going to be looking at all 60 questions, starting at question 1. Do remember to subscribe to encourage us. You could also leave your comments and let us know which paper we should do next. Question 1. Which of the following features is used to classify a group of organisms as class Insecta? That will be D. The segments, there are supposed to be 3 segments for the insect class. Which of the following options correctly identifies a niche and a habitat? And that would be A, the role that an organism plays in the habitat in which it lives. And the habitat is defined as the place where an organism lives. Question 3. Which of the following relationships may present harm to one of the organisms involved? Commensalism, that doesn't have any harm. Parasitism, that has harm. Predation, that has harm. So they asked us which one will present harm. So we're looking for 2 and 3. So C is the answer. Question 4. Which of the following organisms are most important in biodegradation? And that will have to be bacteria. Item 5 refers to the following food chain, which shows the feeding relationship in a freshwater lake. We have algae, larvae, eel, pike. Which of the organisms is the secondary consumer? So we have the producer, the primary consumer, secondary consumer. So the eel, which is A. Item 6 refers to the following diagram, which shows energy flow through an ecosystem. The energy flow is not 100% because energy is lost through respiration and excretion. Which of the following statements about recycling manufactured materials are true? Less energy is used in the manufacturing of new products by using the raw materials from recycled products. That's true. Some manufactured products can be recycled. That's true. Recycling of some non-biodegradable material prevents landfill sites from filling up too quickly and for a long time. That is also true. So D, 1, 2, and 3 is our answer. Replanting trees on a bare hillside is an example of reforestation and restoration. Number 9, human activities would have the least impact on the formation of fossil fuels. Coral bleaching, overpopulation, and eutrophication can all be done by humans. The greatest threat to the survival of coral reefs is B, increased ocean temperatures. And item 11 refers to the following path of population growth. Phase 4 is where it decreases, and they ask you what's the most likely cause of it. Why does the population growth curve decrease? And that would be because of competition from invasive species. Question 12 means we have completed the section A questions for organisms in the environment. And now we are going into the section B questions, which are life processes and disease. Question 12, when compared to a cheek cell, a muscle cell contains more mitochondria. Item 13 refers to the following diagram of a cell. which of the label structures is responsible for controlling cellular activities? And that is the nucleus. The nucleus gives you instructions for the cell. Question 14. Which of the following comparisons of the cell wall and cell membrane is incorrect? That capitalized word. And found in both plant and animal cells. Well, that is definitely not true for the cell wall. So already that jumps out at us. And the cell membrane is found only in animal cells? No, that's found in both animal and plant cells. So again, that is not true. Item 15 refers to the following apparatus set up as shown below. Nice potato sitting in a petri dish with distilled water on top and in it. And what can be done to cause the level of solution in the petri dish to rise after 20 minutes? You want to add 5 grams of salt to the distilled water that is in the petri dish only. Yes, that will create the gradient to allow the water on top of the potato to move into the petri dish. So the answer is B. Item 16 refers to the following table, which shows the results of food tests performed on 3 food samples, X, Y, and Z. And we have a violet color, which automatically indicates to us that what was a protein test. The blue-black precipitate with iodine indicates a starch test. And orange precipitate with Benedict reagent indicates a sugar test. So we are looking for the samples X, Y, and Z respectively most likely contain. So since we have already identified which is which, we already know the answer is D. 17 refers to the following diagram, which shows a xylem vessel. The major feature that is responsible for the rigid structure of the xylem vessel is the lignin. Item 18 refers to the following diagram, which represents a metabolic process carried out in plants. If we're talking about light, we know it's photosynthesis. The food produced is glucose. Item 19 refers to the following diagram, which of the following statements best accounts for the shape of the graph. And as light intensity increases, there is an increase in photosynthesis until there is no further increase in the rate due to some other limiting factor. C, the correct answer for 19. Question 20. A 50-year-old male is advised by his doctor to pay special attention to the amount of salt in his diet. He probably has a high chance of developing high blood pressure, which is also called hypertension. 20C. 21 refers to the following diagram of a tooth. Which option correctly identifies the structures labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4? 1 is enamel, 2 is dentine, 3 is area for pulp cavity, and nerves and blood vessels will be passing through there. And we see 4 being capillaries down here. You see they're running up. So we're just looking for that. And that will be A. Item 22 refers to the following diagram of the respiratory system, which label part represents the rib cage. So we are looking for ribs. That is 2. These are bones here, and you know they join up to form the rib cage. So 22 is B. 23 refers to the following diagram. The respiratory structure shown above is that of an alveolus, another name for the air sac. 24. Which of the following is an effect of nicotine found in cigarette smoke? Nicotine, one of the most addictive substances in the world, it increases the heart rate. Remember, nicotine is a very addictive drug. 25, the events listed below are involved in the clotting of blood. Fibrinogen is converted to fibrin. Blood cells are trapped. Platelets are activated. Damage to blood vessels. And for this process of clotting of blood to happen, you have to have the damage to blood vessels first. So 25 automatically becomes D. 26, in heart bypass surgery, an artery is advantageous over a vein to bypass the blocked structure because arteries have thicker, more muscular walls than veins. 26 is A. Which of the following options best identifies some of the transport substances in animals? Amino acids, hormones, glucose. Yes, all of those are transported in animals. So we're looking for 1, 2, and 3, which is D. 28, in the transport of solutes in the phloem, the source is identified as any area of the plant where sucrose is loaded into the phloem. 29, artificial immunity can be best described as immunity which they have identified as artificial, which means man-made, and the body produces it. It's like getting a vaccination, getting a shot for an illness. All right, so we are looking at deliberate exposure to a pathogen. Remember, the artificial vaccines is a deliberate exposure. Item 30 refers to the following diagram of a mammalian kidney nephron, which option correctly identifies the function of the parts labeled 1, 2, and 3. And for that, we will use B. Ultrafiltration happens in the glomerulus to the Bowman's capsule. Selective reabsorption happens in the proximal convoluted tubule. And water conservation happens at the loop of Henle. Do remember to subscribe, like, share, and leave your comments. You could even let us know which paper one we should do next. The best description of the role of excretion in living organisms is to get rid of toxic waste. 31 is C. 32. Persons who suffer from kidney disease are most likely to have an increased concentration of urea in their blood. Question 33. Which of the following correctly describes movement in plants? It is irreversible and it is a growth movement of the whole or part of the plant. So 33, the answer is C. 34. In humans, the skeletal system performs a variety of functions, including blood cell formation. A. 35. Locomotion is an evolutionary adaptation performed by animals. What advantages does this mechanism have over the type of movement that occurs in plants? The ability to move to favorable conditions, yes. Increases chances of predator attacks, that's not an advantage. The ability to find food, yes. So 1 and 3, that makes the answer B. 36 refers to the following diagram illustrating an experiment. After a few days, the tallest shoot would most likely be the one that is covered from light, which is a foil cap. Foil cap is opaque, light can pass through it. So 1, which makes 36. Which of the following best describes the term stimulus and response? A stimulus is a change in the environment, and the response is how you react to the change or how you react to the stimulus makes 37 T. 38 refers to the following diagram, and the numbered structures are: 1 is coming to the muscle, which makes it an effector. 3 is a relay neuron, and 2 is a sensory neuron. It's saying the skin of hand, which makes it touch. So we just need to find that order, and it is found with C. 39 refers to the following diagram of a section of human skin. Which structure is not involved in temperature regulation? 4 is a sweat gland. 3 is blood vessels, a capillary, which means that's responsible for vasodilation, constriction. 2 is look at attached to the hair follicle or the hair, so a sebaceous gland. And 1, the muscle, the rector muscle, as it were, which makes it 2, which is B. The smell of a hamburger being cooked causes Joan to salivate. Which of the following is the effector which brings about her response? So we know the response is her salivating, and what responsible for the production of saliva? You know that as the salivary glands. The following statements describe the processes taking place with a seed during germination. So what happens to the seed? The embryo uses food to develop radicle and plumule. Yes. Enzymes break down proteins into amino acids. Yes. Soluble products move into the embryo. Yes. They ask you to put it in the correctly identified sequence. So you need to line these 3 up in the order of germination of a seed. And that means you are going with 2, 3, 1. Item 42, production of new organisms from one parent is known as asexual reproduction. Item 43, which of the following forms of birth control is most likely 100% effective? It means you are suggesting a surgical method, which in this case is tubal ligation. (44) refers to the following diagrams of flowers from 2 different types of plants. Which of the following statements is true for both flowers? And we see that flower 1 is pollinated by the wind because it's nice and stringy and feathery. And flower 2 is pollinated by some kind of animal. So we are going with D. Question 45. Which of the following is the correct sequence for seed formation after fertilization? And we know that means you have to start with an ovule, you have to end with a seed, which makes A the correct answer. 46 refers to the following diagrams of specialized cell, egg, and a sperm. Which of the following structures is common to both cells? That would be a nucleus. These are both haploid cells. Item 47 refers to the following diagram, which shows the life cycle of a vector. At which stage is the vector easily controlled by use of aerosol insecticides? That will be the adult, so D would be the answer. 48, which of the following diseases matches its category? Cholera, physiological; pellagra, hereditary; AIDS, infectious; arteriosclerosis, pathogenic. So the correct one that matches up is AIDS, which is infectious. 49, Which of the following is used in the management of diabetes? Diet, exercise, medication. And all true for diabetes, all true. So we are looking for 1, 2, and 3, which is D. 50, an animal which transmits a disease causing organism but is not adversely affected by it is called a vector. B. Question 51. On a certain Caribbean island where sugarcane is grown, a fungus is accidentally introduced into the island and it destroys the entire crop of sugarcane. Which of the following best describes what happened? And the best one is D. There's no genetic variation among the plants, so none could survive the attack. And if we are doing this question, it means we are into section C of the syllabus, genetics, continuity, and variation. That is section C. Let's continue. 52. If a diploid organism has 2 different alleles for the same gene, it is described as heterozygous. 52 is A. 53. Which of the following statements about meiosis is not true? So we're looking for the one that is false, and that will be C. It doubles the amount of chromosomes in gametes. That's actually opposite of what happens in truth, and in fact, it creates half. Right, the chromosomes are half. Tarzan and Jane are heterozygous for blood groups A and B, respectively. So it means Tarzan is OA and Jane is OB. Which of the following shows all the possible results of their genetic cross? And if they do a genetic cross, it means they will produce all the blood groups, which means D is the answer. 55. Which of the following terms refers to the visible characteristics of living things? That will be phenotype. 56 refers to the following diagram, which represents a cross between 2 plants, heterozygous, for a particular characteristic. And they have done a Punnett square for us and wants us to fill in some parts. So it's 1, 2, and 3. They told us it was heterozygous, the both of them. So this means if this is the recessive R, then it means that the 1 is the dominant R. And once we complete the cross, we will get 2 being homozygous recessive, and we will get 3 being heterozygous. So we are just looking for that, and that is found with B. 57. One example of a sex-linked disease is color blindness. A species consists of members that interbreed to produce natural offspring, meaning offspring that could breed again. But the best answer that they provide here is C, interbreed and natural conditions. Notice this word here in D is infertile, that is not species. So the best answer is C. Penultimate question. Which of the following would be involved in the production of insulin by genetic engineering? Transfer of human insulin gene to a bacterium, yes. A vector to transfer the insulin gene, yes. Production of insulin by the bacterium, yes. So we're looking for 1, 2, and 3. D. Which of the following descriptions is true about natural and artificial selection? And that will be C. Produces great biological diversity, produces very different organisms from natural populations. That brings us to the end of this paper. This was the biology paper 1 for June 2019. Do remember to leave us a comment to let us know how you found this paper to be. Also, subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you could know when more papers are released.